The alien woman's tears awoke me when I thought I was dead. Part 1. The cold between stars. Yuna was dying. She knew this because she had seen death before. She had watched soldiers die on battlefields. She had held the hands of wounded friends as they took their last breaths. Now it was her turn. The ship around her was broken. Metal twisted in strange shapes. Wires hung from the ceiling like dead vines. The air was thin and cold. Each breath hurt her chest. Each heartbeat felt slower than the last. She lay on the floor of the medical bay. Her body would not move. Something heavy had fallen on her legs during the crash. She could not feel them anymore. Maybe that was a good thing. Maybe feeling them would only bring more pain. Captain Dewan was dead. She had seen his body near the bridge. The impact had thrown him against the wall. Engineer Sumi was dead too. The explosion in the engine room had taken her instantly. Yuna was the last one alive on the Hanyul, but not for long. The Hanyul had been a good ship. A Korean research vessel meant to study distant stars. They had traveled far from Earth, far from home, and now they would never return. Yuna thought about home. She thought about the mountains of Gangwon Province, the green forests in summer, the white snow in winter, her grandmother's house with the small garden. The smell of food cooking in the morning, she would never see any of it again. The cold was getting worse. The life support system was failing. Soon there would be no air left. Soon the darkness would come and take her away. Yuna closed her eyes. She was not afraid. She had lived a good life. 28 years. A career in the military. Adventures among the stars. Not many people could say the same. Her breathing slowed. Her heart grew quiet. The pain began to fade. This was death, she thought. It was not so bad. It was like falling asleep after a very long day. The last thing she heard was a sound. A strange sound. Like metal touching metal. Like a door opening somewhere far away. Then there was nothing. Lee Ray stood at the entrance of the broken human ship. She held a light in her hand. The beam cut through the darkness and showed her the destruction inside. This was bad. Very bad. The ship was almost completely destroyed. Whatever it hit, it had been powerful. Asteroids, probably. This part of space was full of them. She stepped carefully over broken metal. Her silver skin glowed softly in the darkness. Her large violet eyes looked at everything. Her people, the Vesion, were good at finding things in wreckage. They had been doing it for many years. Ever since their son started dying and they had to leave their home, behind her, 2 other Veshan followed. Torvak, the captain of their salvage ship, and a young worker named Byron. They moved quietly. They were always quiet. It was their nature. Human ship, Torvak said. His voice was low and worried. We should leave. Lee Ray shook her head. We came to salvage. We salvage. Humans are dangerous. Dead humans are not dangerous. She moved deeper into the ship. The Veshan had heard many stories about humans. Terrible stories. Humans were the most frightening species in the galaxy. They refused to die. They fought even when they should surrender. They survived things that would kill any other creature. But these humans were clearly dead. The ship was too damaged. No one could survive this. Lee Ray found the first body near what looked like a control room. A male human. Big and strong, but very dead. She felt a small sadness. Death was always sad, even for strangers. She continued walking. She found another body. A female, smaller than the first. Also dead. The explosion had been quick. That was good. Quick deaths were better than slow ones. Then she found the medical bay. The room was dark. Machines were broken. Medicine bottles lay scattered on the floor. And in the middle of it all, there was another human. A young female with black hair and a face that looked peaceful. Lee Ray walked closer. She bent down and looked at the human. The female was pretty in a strange alien way. Her skin was warm brown. Her eyes were closed. Her chest was not moving. Dead, like the others. But something made Lee Ray stop. Something she could not explain. She stared at the human's face for a long time. There was something there, something that pulled at her heart. Lorraine reached out and touched the human's cheek. It was cold, too cold. There was no life left. Without knowing why, Lorraine felt tears forming in her eyes. This was normal for Vessian. They cried when they were near death. It was a biological response. Their bodies made tears to try to heal, even when healing was impossible. The tears fell from Lorraine's violet eyes. They dropped onto the human's face. Silver drops on cold skin. Lorraine felt foolish. Why was she crying for a stranger? For a human she had never met? It made no sense. She started to stand up. She would tell the others. They would take what technology they could and leave this place of death. But then something happened. The human's chest moved. Just a little. Just a tiny rise and fall. Lorraine froze. That was impossible. The human was dead. She had checked. There was no pulse. No breath. Nothing. But there it was again. Another breath. Stronger this time, and then the human's eyes opened. They were dark brown. Those eyes. Deep and fierce and very much alive. They looked up at Lorraine with confusion, then with fear. Then with something else. Something hard and dangerous. The human moved fast. Faster than Lorraine thought possible. One moment she was lying still. The next moment she was sitting up, her hand grabbing Lorraine's arm. Lorraine screamed. The human spoke. Strange words in a language Lorraine did not understand. But the meaning was clear. The human was asking questions. Who are you? Where am I? What is happening? Torvak came running. He saw the human and reached for his weapon. But the human saw him too. She moved in front of Lorraine, putting herself between the Veshan and any threat. She was protecting her, Lorraine realized. This human, who had just come back from the dead, was trying to protect the alien who woke her. It was impossible. It was terrifying. It was the most human thing Lorraine had ever seen. The human looked at Lorraine again. Her grip softened. Her eyes became less hard. She spoke again.
One word.
A question. Lorraine's translator finally caught up. It turned the human sounds into Vessian meaning. Friend? The human had asked. Lorraine did not know how to answer. She was scared. She was confused. She had just watched a dead creature come back to life, but she looked into those dark brown eyes and saw something she recognized. Loneliness, fear, hope, friend Lorraine said back. The human smiled. It was a small smile, a tired smile. But it was real. Then her eyes closed and she fell back to the ground. Not dead this time, just sleeping. Her body was healing, changing, coming back to life in ways that should not be possible. Lorraine looked at Torvak. The old captain was pale with fear. What do we do? He asked. Lorraine looked at the sleeping human. Her tears were still wet on the human's face. Silver on brown. Alien on human? We take her with us? Lorraine said. She is alive. Because of me. Because of my tears. Lorraine stood up. I will not leave her here to die again. Torvak wanted to argue, but he saw the look in Lorraine's eyes. The same look she had when she made decisions that could not be changed. He sighed. This will bring trouble, maybe, Lorraine said. But maybe trouble is what we need. They carried the human to their ship. The quiet passage accepted its strange new passenger. And somewhere in the darkness of space, a story began. A story of tears and survival. A story of two species learning to trust. A story that would change the galaxy forever. But that was still to come. For now, there was only a human woman sleeping in an alien medical bay. Alive when she should be dead. Saved by tears she did not understand. Una dreamed of mountains, of snow, of home. And for the first time in a very long time, she dreamed of hope. The alien woman's tears awoke me when I thought I was dead. Part 2. The impossible human Nuna woke up to strange sounds. Beeping machines. Soft voices speaking words she did not understand. The smell of something clean and cold. Like a hospital, but different. She opened her eyes slowly. The light was purple, Everything was purple. The walls, the ceiling, the soft glow coming from machines she had never seen before. She was lying on a bed. But it was not a human bed. It was too long and too narrow, made for bodies shaped differently than hers. Then she remembered. The crash. The pain. The dying. And then eyes. Large violet eyes looking down at her. Silver tears falling on her face. She sat up fast. Too fast. Her head hurt. Her body felt strange, like it had been taken apart and put back together again. A sound made her turn. There was someone in the room with her. An alien. Tall and thin, with silver skin that glowed softly. Large violet eyes that watched her with a mix of fear and wonder. It was the same one. The one who had been crying over her, Yuna's training, kicked in immediately. She looked around for weapons. For exits. For anything she could use. She was a soldier. Soldiers survived. Soldiers fought. The alien raised its hands. A peaceful gesture, universal in its meaning. Please, it said. The word came from a small device on its chest. A translator. No harm. Safe here. Yuna did not trust it. She did not trust anything. She had been dead. She remembered being dead. And now she was on an alien ship with creatures she had never seen before. She jumped off the bed. Her legs were weak, but they worked. She grabbed a metal tool from a nearby table. She did not know what it was for. She did not care. It was hard and heavy. It could hurt. The alien stepped back. Fear in its eyes now. Real fear, please, it said again. Friend. I am friend. Yuna heard noise from outside the room. The door opened, and 2 more aliens came in. Both had weapons. Strange guns that glowed with blue light. Yuna moved fast. She threw the metal tool at the first guard. It hit his hand and he dropped his weapon. She ran forward, grabbed the falling gun, spun around, and pointed it at the second guard. All of this took less than 3 seconds. The aliens stared at her. They could not believe what had just happened. She had been dead minutes ago. Now she was holding a weapon and looking ready to fight all of them. Wait, the first alien, the one with violet eyes, stepped between Yuna and the guards. Please wait. We are not enemies. Yuna kept the weapon raised. Where am I? What ship is this? What did you do to me? The translator worked both ways. The alien heard her questions in its own language. This is the Quiet Passage, a Veshan salvage ship. We found your ship destroyed. We found you dead. The alien's voice was soft. Careful. My name is Lee Ray. I am a healer. My tears. They healed you. Your tears. Veshan tears have power. They can heal wounds. Sometimes they can bring back the recently dead. I did not know it would work on humans. No one has ever tried before. Yuna stared at her. This was impossible. People did not come back from the dead. That was not how the universe worked. But here, she was alive, breathing, her heart beating strong in her chest. She lowered the weapon slowly. Not all the way. Just enough to show she was listening. My crew, she said. Captain Doan. Engineer Sumi, where are they? Lee Ray's eyes became sad. I am sorry. They did not survive. You were the only one. Yuna felt something cold in her chest. She had known. She had seen their bodies. But hearing it made it real. She was alone. The last survivor of the Hanuel. Lost in space with aliens, she did not understand. An older Veshan entered the room. He was taller than the others, with darker silver skin. He looked at Yuna with open distrust. I am Captain Torvak, he said through his translator. This is my ship. You are a guest here. But understand this. Humans are feared throughout the galaxy. If you cause harm, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves. Yuna almost laughed. She was one human against a ship full of aliens, but she could see the real fear in Torvak's eyes. He was not pretending. He was truly afraid of her. I will not cause harm, she said. Unless you give me a reason. Torvak nodded slowly. He did not look convinced. but he accepted her words for now. The next few hours were strange. Lee brought Yuna food and water. The food tasted wrong, too sweet and too soft, but Yuna ate it anyway. Her body needed fuel. Lee stayed with her, watching, studying, curious like a scientist with a new discovery. "You should be dead," Lee said. "Your body was cold. Your heart was not beating. I checked 3 times, but I am alive, as it is. Humans are strange. We have heard stories about your kind, that you are hard to kill, that you survive things that would destroy others. I thought they were just stories." "What kind of stories?" Lee looked nervous, but she answered anyway. "Stories of humans walking in space without protection. Stories of humans fighting with broken bones. Stories of humans surviving radiation that would kill any other species in seconds." She paused. "The galaxy is afraid of humans. Your kind came to the stars only recently, but already you have made everyone fear you." Yuna did not know what to say. On Earth, humans thought of themselves as weak, soft bodies. No claws, no armor, no natural weapons. They had survived through brains and tools, not through strength. But compared to these Veshan, she was a monster. "I am just a person," she said. "A soldier, a medic. I heal people, and sometimes I fight. Nothing special." Lee shook her head. "You came back from death. That is very special." An alarm sounded through the ship. Red lights flashed. The whole ship shook. Torvak's voice came through speakers. "All crew. We have incoming ships. Krath raiders. 12 of them. Prepare for boarding." Lee's face became white with terror. "Krath?" she whispered. "No, not Krath." "What are Krath?" "Pirates, killers. They attack weak ships and take everything. They kill anyone who fights back." Lee was shaking now. "We cannot win against Krath. We have no weapons. We are salvagers, not warriors." Yuna stood up. The weakness in her body was fading. Something new was taking its place. Something hot and dangerous. "How many Krath on each ship?" "What? How many?" "On each ship? How many raiders?" Lee stared at her. "Usually 4 to 6. But why does it matter? We cannot fight them. We have to surrender. Maybe they will only take our cargo. Maybe they will let us live. Do they usually let people live?" Lee did not answer. Her silence was answer enough. Yuna walked to the door. "Take me to your captain. Now." They found Torvak on the bridge. He was talking fast to his crew, giving orders, but his voice was shaking. He was terrified. All of them were terrified. "Gotten," Yuna said. "I want to fight." Torvak turned to her. "Fight 1 human against 70 Krath? You are insane." "But I am also alive when I should be dead. Your healer said humans are hard to kill. Let me show you how hard this is madness. This is survival. You said the Krath kill everyone who fights back, so you were going to surrender, and they would kill you anyway. Or worse." Yuna stepped closer to the captain. "I have nothing left. My crew is dead. My ship is gone. Let me die fighting. Let me buy you time. Maybe you can escape while I keep them busy." Torvak looked at her for a long moment. He was trying to understand her. This strange human who spoke of death like it was nothing, who offered to fight impossible odds with a smile on her face. "You truly want to do this?" "Yes. You will die." "Maybe, but I will take some of them with me." Torvak shook his head slowly. "Humans," he said. "You are all crazy." Yes, Yuna agreed. "We are." The Krath ship docked with the quiet passage. Yuna stood in the airlock, waiting. In her hands was a metal pipe. She had torn it from the wall herself. It was heavy. It would do good work. Behind her, through a window, she could see Lee watching. The Vessian's violet eyes were wet with new tears. "Do not cry for me," Yuna thought. "Not yet. Save your tears. You might need them again." The airlock door began to open. Yuna could hear sounds from the other side. Heavy footsteps. Deep voices. The Krath were coming. She smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a soldier who had nothing left to lose. Come on then, she thought. Come and see what humans are made of. The door opened all the way, and Yuna stepped forward into hell. The alien woman's tears awoke me when I thought I was dead. Part 3. What humans do. The first Krath through the door was huge. 8 feet tall with gray armored skin, for arms ending in claws that looked like knives, small red eyes that burned with hunger and cruelty. It saw Yuna and laughed. The sound was like rocks grinding together. One small creature, it said in a deep voice. The translator in Yuna's ear turned it into words she could understand. One small soft creature with a stick. This is their defense? 3 more Krath came through behind it. All of them laughed. They had raided hundreds of ships. They had killed thousands of prey. This would be easy. This would be fun. Yuna did not wait for them to finish. Laughing, she ran straight at the first Krath. The creature was surprised. Prey did not run toward Krath. Prey ran away. Prey begged. Prey died. But this prey was different. Yuna swung the pipe at the Krath's knee. The joint was not armored. Her pipe hit it perfectly. The Krath screamed and fell forward. Before it could recover, Yuna was climbing up its body. She used its own armor as handholds. The other Krath tried to grab her, but she was too fast. Too small. Too unpredictable. She reached the first Krath's head. Its skull was thick and armored, but its eyes were not. Yuna drove the pipe into its left eye with all her strength. The Krath screamed again. A horrible sound. It grabbed at her with all 4 arms. One claw caught her leg and tore through her flesh. The pain was incredible. But Yuna did not stop. She could not stop. She pulled the pipe out and jumped away. Blood ran down her leg. Her blood and the black blood of the Krath. The wounded creature fell. It was not dead, but it was blind in one eye and mad with pain. It swung wildly at everything around it, including its own allies. One of the other Krath got hit by its blind partner. They started fighting each other. 2 left. Yuna faced them. Her leg was screaming with pain, but she forced herself to stand straight. To smile. Who is next? The Krath looked at each other. They had never seen anything like this. This tiny creature had just crippled their strongest fighter in seconds, and she was smiling. Why was she smiling? They attacked together, smart, trying to overwhelm her with numbers. But Yuna was ready. She had trained for this. Years of combat practice. Years of learning to fight bigger enemies. Humans had always been small and weak. They had survived by being clever. She dropped to the ground as the first Krath swung. Its claws passed over her head. She rolled between its legs and came up behind it. The pipe hit the back of its knee. The Krath stumbled. The 4th one grabbed her from behind. All 4 arms wrapped around her, squeezing, crushing. She could feel her ribs bending. Soon they would break. Yuna drove her head back. Her skull hit the Krath's face. It hurt. It hurt so much. But the Krath let go for just a second. That second was enough. She twisted free and drove the pipe into its throat. The armor there was thin. The pipe went deep. Black blood sprayed. The Krath fell. 2 down. 1 hurt. 1 still standing. The remaining Krath looked at its dead companion. Then at Yuna, the small creature covered in blood. Still standing, still smiling fear. Real fear in those red eyes now.
What are you?
It asked. Human Yuna said. She attacked. The fight was ugly. The Krath was scared now, but it was still dangerous. Its claws caught her shoulder, tore through muscle and bone. Her left arm went numb, but she did not stop. Could not stop. She used the wall. Pushed off it with her good leg. Got height. Came down on the Krath with all her weight behind the pipe. The pipe broke through its skull. 3 down. The first Krath, one she had blinded, was still alive. Still dangerous? It heard its friends dying and got up, blood running from its empty eye socket. Murder in the eye that still worked. I will eat you slowly, it promised. Yuna could barely stand. Her leg was torn. Her shoulder was ruined. Her ribs were cracked. Blood was everywhere. But she raised what was left of her pipe. Come try, she said. From the bridge of the quiet passage, Lee watched everything through the security cameras. Her whole body was shaking. Tears ran down her face without stopping. The human was dying. That was clear. No creature could take that much damage and live. But she was still fighting. Still standing? Still refusing to fall? Captain Torvak stood beside Lee. His mouth was open. His eyes were wide. He had lived for 200 years. He had seen many things. But he had never seen anything like this. It's impossible, he whispered. This is impossible. Una killed the last Krath. She did not know how. The details were already becoming unclear. There was just pain and blood and the need to keep moving. To keep fighting? When it was over, she was standing in a room full of bodies. For Krath dead, one human barely alive, she heard sounds from the airlock. More Krath coming from the main ship? Of course, she had only killed 4. There were many more on the raider's ship. She tried to lift her pipe. Her arms would not obey. She tried to take a step. Her legs collapsed under her. She fell to the floor among the dead Krath, her blood mixed with theirs. Red and black together. This is it, she thought. This is really it now. But she was smiling. She had killed 4. That was not bad. Not bad at all for one small human with a pipe. The new Krath came through the airlock. 2 of them. They saw the bodies. They saw the small creature lying in the middle of the carnage. They stopped. They did not attack. It killed them, one said. That tiny thing killed 4 of our best warriors. Is it dead? I do not know. They did not want to get closer. They had seen what this creature could do. They had seen their friends die. A voice came through their communication devices. The captain of the Krath ship. Port. What is happening? Why is this taking so long? Captain. For warriors dead. Killed by a human. One human. Silence. Then, one human killed for Krath. Yes, Captain, it is. It is lying in their blood. We think it is dead now, but we are not certain. More silence. Then, a new order. We are leaving. Disengage immediately. The 2 Krath looked at each other. They had never received such an order before. Krath did not retreat. Krath did not run from prey, but they had never faced a human before. They ran back to their ship. The airlock closed. Seconds later, the Krath raider disconnected from the quiet passage and flew away as fast as it could. On the other Krath ships, the story was spreading. One human. For dead Krath, the tiny creature had refused to die, had kept fighting with wounds that would kill anything else. The fleet turned and ran. In the airlock of the quiet passage, Yuna lay in a pool of blood. She was dying again. This time for real. But she was smiling. She had won. The Vashin were safe. That was enough. The door opened and Lee came running in. She did not care about the blood or the bodies. She went straight to Yuna and fell to her knees. No, she said. No, no, no. You cannot die. Not after this. Yuna opened her eyes. Just a little. Just enough to see that beautiful alien face above her. Did they run? She asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. Yes, they ran. You made them run. Lee was crying. Those silver tears falling like rain. You were amazing. You were terrifying. You were. Human, Yuna finished. I was just human. The tears fell on her wounds. The shoulder, the leg, the cracked ribs. Everywhere the silver drops touched, warmth spread. The bleeding slowed. The pain became less. Your tears, Yuna said? Yes, they are healing you again. Please do not die. Please. Yuna wanted to tell her not to worry, that she was fine, that this was nothing. But she was so tired, so very tired. She closed her eyes and let the darkness take her. When she woke up, she was in the medical bay again. Ray was sitting beside her. The alien's eyes were red from crying. Her silver skin looked tired and pale. "How long?" Una asked. 2 days. You almost died again. I used so many tears. I do not know if I have any left. Ray tried to smile. But you are alive again, you stubborn human. Una tried to move. Her body was sore, but everything worked. The wounds were healed. Not perfectly. There would be scars. But she was whole again. The Krath, she asked. Gone. They ran away and did not come back. You scared them? One human scared a fleet of Krath raiders. Ray shook her head. The stories about humans, they are all true. You are the most frightening species in the galaxy, Una laughed. It hurt, but she laughed anyway. We do not think of ourselves that way. On Earth, we think we are weak. Then your planet is full of fools. Captain Torvak came into the room. He looked at Una with new eyes. Not fear anymore. Something else. Respect. The Krath told other ships what happened here, he said. The story is spreading. One human killed for Krath warriors. One human made a raiding fleet retreat. He paused. You saved my ship. You saved my crew. I do not know how to repay this. Una sat up slowly. I need to get home. Take me to human space. That is all I ask. Torvak nodded. There is a human outpost 3 days from here. We can take you there, human space. Ray looked worried. Is that safe? For us? Una looked at her. This alien who had saved her life twice now, who had cried for her, who had refused to give up on her. It will be safe, Una said. I promise. I will protect you. The way you protected me. Ray's eyes filled with tears again. But these were different tears. Happy tears. Then we go to human space, she said. The quiet passage changed course. Behind them, empty space. Ahead of them, human territory. And somewhere in between, hope. Una lay back down and closed her eyes. She had a lot of healing still to do. But for the first time since she woke up in this strange place, she felt like everything might be okay. She had found new friends. She had proven what humans could do. And she was going home. What more could she ask for? The alien woman's tears awoke me when I thought I was dead part. For crossing the boundary, the journey to human space took 3 days. 3 days of healing. 3 days of learning. 3 days of two species trying to understand each other. Una spent most of her time with Ray. The Veshan healer was curious about everything human. She asked questions constantly. About Earth. About human bodies. About human culture. Una answered as best she could. Tell me about your home, Ray said one day. They were sitting in the medical bay. Una was eating some of the strange Veshan food. She was getting used to it now. My home is in Korea, a country on Earth. I grew up in the mountains. Gangwon Province. It is beautiful there. Green forests in summer. White snow in winter. Cold rivers full of fish. It sounds peaceful, as I do not know anymore. Una put down her food. I left Earth 5 years ago. I was supposed to be back in 2 years. But my mission kept getting extended. One more system to explore. One more discovery to make. Do you miss it? Every day. Ray was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I miss my home too, but I can never go back. Our sun is dying. Our planet is dead now. I am sorry. It is not your fault. It is not anyone's fault. Suns die. That is what they do. Ray looked out the window at the stars passing by. My people have been wandering for 50 years. We look for things to salvage. We sell what we find. We survive. But we have no home. Una thought about this. A whole species without a planet. Without a place to belong. It was terrible. Maybe you could find a new home, she said. The galaxy is big. There must be a planet somewhere. But empty planets are rare. And planets with other species on them. They do not want us. We are weak. We have nothing to offer. Other species ignore us at best. At worst, They hunt us like the Krath. Yuna felt anger building inside her. This was not right. Liray and her people had done nothing wrong. They were just trying to survive, just like humans had done for thousands of years. Humans were like you once, Yuna said. On Earth, long ago, we were small and weak. Other animals were stronger, faster, more dangerous. But we survived. We learned. We built. How? We helped each other. When one human was weak, others protected them. We shared food. We shared knowledge. We worked together. Yuna looked at Liray. That is what humans do best. We survive together. Liray's eyes became wet. She seemed to cry a lot. Yuna was getting used to that too. Your people are very different from what the stories say, Liray said. The stories say humans are monsters. That you kill without reason. That you destroy everything you touch. Some humans are like that. We are not perfect. We have done terrible things in our history. But most of us just want to live. To be happy. To protect the people we love. Just like Vessian. Just like everyone, I think, Captain Torvak came to visit Yuna the next day. He was less afraid of her now, but he was still careful. He kept his distance when they talked. We are approaching human space, he said. I have never been this close before. My crew is nervous. They do not need to be nervous. Humans will not hurt them. Cannot promise that. You do not speak for all humans. Yuna nodded. He was right. She could not promise anything. She did not know how the outpost would react to alien visitors. I will do my best to protect you, she said. That is all I can promise. Torvak studied her face. Why? We are strangers. We are aliens. Why do you care what happens to us? Yuna thought about the question. It was a good question. A few days ago, she had been ready to die. She had nothing left. No crew, no ship, no purpose. But then Liray had cried for her, had healed her, had believed in her, 'cause someone cared about me when they did not have to, Yuna said. Liray saved my life. She had no reason to do that. She could have left me to die, but she chose to help. Now, I choose to help back. That is how it works. That is how good things grow. Oh, Torvak was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. Perhaps humans are not what I thought, he said. Perhaps the stories are wrong. Perhaps Yuna agreed. There is only one way to find out. On the third day, they saw it. A human outpost floating in space. New Busan, named after a city on Earth. A city Yuna had never visited but had always wanted to see. The outpost was not large. Just a space station with a few ships docked around it. But to Yuna, it was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. Human writing on the hull, human ships, human voices on the radio home. But there was a problem. The Krath had followed them. 15 ships appeared behind the quiet passage. They had been hiding, waiting, building their numbers before attacking again. They followed us, Liray said. Her voice was shaking. They want revenge. Yuna looked at the Krath fleet. 15 ships. Maybe 100 raiders? More than enough to destroy the quiet passage 1,000 times over. But they were in human space now. And humans protected their territory. A voice came through the communication system. Strong and clear, unidentified vessel. This is Commander GA of New Busan Station. You have hostile ships on your tail. Identify yourself immediately. Yuna grabbed the communication device. Commander, this is Lieutenant Yuna of the Korean Space Force. Identification number 7749 Delta. I am aboard a Vessian ship with alien friendlies. The ships behind us are Krath raiders. We need help. Pause. Yuna could imagine the commander checking her records, verifying her identity. Then, Lieutenant Yuna, you were listed as missing, presumed dead. Good to hear your voice. Get behind us. We will handle the rest. The quiet passage flew toward the human station. The Veshan crew watched through the windows as 3 human destroyer ships moved out to meet the Krath fleet. 3 ships against 15. It cannot win, Torvak said. The numbers are too uneven, Yuna smiled. Watch. The human ships opened fire. What followed was not a battle. It was a demonstration. Human weapons technology was centuries ahead of the Krath. Plasma cannons that could cut through armor like paper. Missiles that moved faster than anything the Krath had ever seen. Shields that blocked everything the pirates threw at them. In less than 5 minutes, 8 Krath ships were destroyed. The other 7 turned and ran. The humans did not chase them. They did not need to. The message was clear. This space belonged to humans. Anyone who threatened it would die. Lee Ray stared at the destruction. Her mouth was open. Her violet eyes were huge. "This is what humans can do," she whispered. "This is what we do when we are protecting someone," Yuna said. "This is what we have always done." The quiet passage docked at New Busan. Yuna led the Veshyan off the ship. She walked slowly. Her body was healed, but she was still tired. Still recovering from everything that had happened, Commander Jiggy was waiting for them. She was an older woman, maybe 60 years old. Gray hair cut short, eyes sharp and intelligent. She wore the uniform of the Korean Space Force, the same uniform Yuna had worn before everything went wrong. "Lieutenant Yuna," she said. "You look terrible." Yuna tried to salute, but her arm hurt too much. "Thank you, Commander." "It is good to see a human face." Jie looked at the Veshyan behind her. At Lee Ray and Torvak and the others, her eyes were curious but not hostile. "These are the aliens who saved you." "Yes, they found me dying in my destroyed ship. Their healer brought me back to life. They gave me food and shelter, and when the Krath attacked, I fought to protect them." "I heard about that. 1 human against 4 Krath warriors. The story is already spreading through the station." Jie smiled. A small smile. "You did us proud, Lieutenant." Yuna felt warmth in her chest. Pride. She had almost forgotten what it felt like. Jie turned to the Veshyan. "Welcome to New Busan. You are the first aliens to willingly enter human space as friends. I hope you will not be the last." Torvak stepped forward. He was nervous, but he held himself straight. "We thank you for your welcome, and for protecting us from the Krath. We did not know humans could be so kind." "We have our moments," Jie said. "Come, all of you. You must be hungry. We will find you food and rooms to rest. Tomorrow, we can talk about what comes next." As they walked into the station, Lee Ray moved close to Yuna. She took Yuna's hand gently. Her silver fingers felt cool against Yuna's warm skin. "We are safe now?" Lee Ray asked. Yuna squeezed her hand. "Yes, we are safe. Because of you, because of us. Together." Lee Ray smiled. It was a strange expression on her alien face. But Yuna thought it was beautiful. They walked into the station together. Human and Veshyan. 2 species that should have been strangers. 2 species that were becoming something more. Behind them, the stars continued to burn. The galaxy continued to spin. But something had changed. A door had opened. A connection had been made. And nothing would ever be the same again. Why Yuna did not know what the future would bring. She did not know if her people and Lee Ray's people could truly become allies. There were so many differences, so many problems to solve. But for now, she was home. She was with friends. And she was alive. That was enough. That was more than enough. That was everything. The alien woman's tears awoke me when I thought I was dead. Part 5. Tears of a new beginning. The news spread fast. Faster than any ship could travel. Faster than light itself. Carried by communication signals that reached every corner of human space, aliens had come to humanity. Not as enemies. Not as invaders. But as friends. The story of Yuna and Lee Ray became famous. A human soldier who died and came back to life. An alien healer whose tears could work miracles. A battle against impossible odds. A friendship born in blood and fire. Politicians saw opportunity. Scientists saw discovery. The military saw alliance. Everyone wanted to meet the Veshyan. Everyone wanted to understand. A message came from Earth, from the United Korean government. They wanted Yuna and Lee Ray to come to Seoul. to speak before the world, to begin something new? Me. Yuna stared at Commander GA. They want me to be a diplomat? They want you to be a symbol, GA said. You survived when you should have died. You fought when you should have run. You brought aliens to human space in peace. You are already a legend, Lieutenant. Now they want you to be a bridge. Yuna did not know what to say. She was a soldier. A medic. She knew how to fight and how to heal. She did not know how to give speeches or negotiate treaties. But then she looked at Liray the Vishan was watching her with those beautiful violet eyes. Eyes full of trust. Eyes full of hope. I will do it, Yuna said. But only if Liray comes with me? Of course, GA smiled. They want both of you. The human who would not die, and the alien who saved her. Together, the trip to Earth took 2 weeks. Yuna spent most of that time preparing Liray for what was coming, teaching her about human culture, about human politics, about all the strange things humans did that made no sense. Liray learned fast. Vessian minds were quick. She memorized everything Yuna told her. But she had questions of her own. Why do humans fight so much? She asked one day. We disagree about many things. We always have. Sometimes we cannot solve our problems with words. But you could destroy each other. Your weapons are so powerful. Why do you not destroy yourselves? Yuna thought about this. It was a good question. Humans had come close to destroying themselves many times. Wars and weapons and terrible decisions. I think because we want to live more than we want to win, she said finally. When we are close to the edge, we step back. We find another way. We survive. Like you did. In the airlock with the Krath? Yes, like that. Liray nodded slowly. I think I understand humans a little better now. You are not monsters. You are survivors. Like us. Just louder. Yuna laughed. Yes, much louder. They arrived at Earth on a spring morning. The ship landed in Seoul. Yuna looked out the window, saw her planet for the first time in 5 years. Blue and green and white. Cities and forests and oceans. Billions of humans living their lives. Her home tears ran down her face. She did not try to stop them. Liray took her hand. It is beautiful, the Veshian said. Yes, it is. Before the official meetings, Yuna took Liray somewhere special. They traveled to Gangwon province. To the mountains Yuna had dreamed about while dying in space. The forest was green. The river was cold and clear. Snow still covered the highest peaks even though spring had come to the valleys below. Liray looked at everything with wonder. She touched the trees. She tasted the water. She breathed the air that was so different from anything on her dead home world. Is this what a home feels like? She asked. Yes, this is home. Liray's eyes filled with silver tears. Not sad tears this time. Something else. Something deeper. My people have not had a home for 50 years. We have forgotten what it feels like. To belong somewhere. To have a place that is ours. Yuna took her hand again. Maybe you can find a new home. Maybe we can help you find one? You would do that? Humans would help us. Some would. Not all. Humans are not perfect. But enough of us would want to help. Enough to make a difference. The diplomatic meeting was held in Seoul, a great hall filled with important people from every nation on Earth. Leaders. And scientists and journalists. All of them there to see the aliens. To hear what they had to say, Liray was nervous. Her silver skin was pale. Her hands were shaking. You will be fine, Yuna told her. Just speak from your heart. What if they do not accept us? What if they see us as threats? Then we will change their minds. Together. That is what friends do. Liray stepped up to speak. The hall became silent. Every eye was on her. The first alien to address humanity on its own world, she spoke in her own language. Translators carried her words to every ear. My name is Liray. I am a healer of the Veshan people. We are not warriors. We are not conquerors. We are survivors like you. She told them about her dying son, about 50 years of wandering, about fear and loneliness, and the desperate hope that someday things would be better. Then she told them about Yuna. I found her dead in the wreckage of her ship. By all our science, she should have stayed dead. But I cried for her. My tears fell on her face, and she woke up. The hall was completely silent now. Every person listening, every ear hearing. I did not know humans then. I only knew the stories. That you were dangerous. That you were monsters. That you would destroy anyone who came close to you. Liray paused. She looked at Yuna, standing at the edge of the hall. The human soldier who had changed everything. But those stories were wrong. Lieutenant Yuna showed me what humans really are. Not monsters. Not destroyers. Protectors. Survivors. People who will fight until their last breath to save someone they care about. Tears were falling from Liray's eyes now. Silver drops running down her silver face. My people have nothing to offer you. We are weak. We have no technology you want. No resources you need. We can only offer our tears, our healing, our hope. She spread her hands. A gesture of openness, of trust. We ask only for a chance to prove that we can be friends, a chance to find a new home among the stars, a chance to survive the way humans have always survived. Together, the hall erupted in applause, humans standing and clapping, many of them crying, moved by the simple truth of Liray's words. Later, the formal alliance was made. Humanity would help the Veshan find a new home world. Vessian healers would share their knowledge with human doctors. Two species would work together for the first time in galactic history. It was not perfect. Not everyone agreed. Some humans still feared the aliens. Some thought helping them was a waste of resources. But enough people believed. Enough people wanted to try, and that was enough to begin. That night, Yuna and Liray stood on a balcony overlooking Seoul. The city lights stretched to the horizon, millions of lives glowing in the darkness. Thank you, Liray said, for everything. For bringing us here. For giving us hope. Yuna shook her head. You gave me hope first. I was dead. In every way that matters, I was dead. Your tears brought me back. Your friendship gave me a reason to live. She turned to face the Veshan. Those violet eyes, that silver skin, so different from anything human, and yet so familiar. I was lost, Yuna said. My crew was dead. My ship was gone. I had nothing left. But you saved me. You believed in me. You made me feel like I mattered again. Liray stepped closer. She was taller than Yuna, but she bent down, so their eyes were level. You matter, she said. You matter more than you know. To me, to my people, to the galaxy. Yuna smiled. A real smile. A happy smile. I think I was supposed to die in that ship, she said. I think the universe wanted me to die. But you changed that. You changed everything. Maybe that is what happens when strangers become friends. They change each other. They make each other better. Maybe. Liray reached out and touched Yuna's face. Her cool fingers traced the lines of Yuna's cheek, the places where silver tears had fallen and worked miracles. I was taught to fear humans, Liray said. But you taught me to love one. Yuna felt her heart beating fast, a warmth spreading through her chest. I was taught that aliens were threats, Yuna replied. But you taught me that they can be family. The sun was setting behind the mountains, the same mountains Yuna had dreamed of while dying. The same mountains she had shown to Liray that morning. Two figures stood at the window. One human, one alien, hands intertwined. Behind them, a new future was beginning. Humans and Veshan working together. Different species learning to trust each other. A galaxy watching with wonder and hope. It would not be easy. Nothing good ever was. There would be problems and conflicts and moments when everything seemed impossible, but they would face it together. The way Yuna had faced the Krath, the way Liray had faced her fear of humans. Together, what happens now? Lee Ray asked. Yuna looked at the sunset. Gold and purple painting the sky. Beautiful and strange and full of promise. Now we live, she said. We live and we hope and we build something better. Together, Lee Ray smiled. Silver tears fell from her eyes. Happy tears. Hopeful tears? It sounds good, she said. That sounds very good. Yuna squeezed her hand. Like it will be, she promised. It will be everything. The sun set behind the mountains of Korea. Two hearts beat as one. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Because for the first time in a very long time, the galaxy had something to hope for. The end.